Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to have you. Everybody that is listening and watching, we have the world-renowned John Balk in the house. If anybody has taken a peek at his work or his Instagram, you can see that he has traveled the world and brought images that we can see just on our phones that are breathtaking.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Oh,
breathtaking.
I try. I try.
So, John, what came first, your love of real estate or your obsession with capturing perfect light at 5 a.m.?
Well, it definitely started with capturing light at 5 a.m.
No, it does not. You are not even up at
No,
5.
I'm not. I'm not. Like 10 o'clock. Okay, so capturing light at 5 o'clock in the evening
The golden
in the
hour?
winter.
Yes.
That's about the only time that time would really work for me. But no, it started with photography and then moved into the real estate end. But I started out by just wanting to experience more of Wyoming.
Yeah.
When I first moved to Wyoming in 2010, I stayed pretty stationary in Gillette. I didn't really get to see a whole lot. Like you see a little bit of the bighorns and stuff like that. Like I didn't actually even get to see the Grand Tetons or Yellowstone until like 9 years after living here.
That is so funny. I find it very often that people that have grown up here or lived here for long periods of time, they never go to Yellowstone or Devil's Tower or like
Yeah,
the national monuments that are like really close.
there is there is a lot of like I think of Wyoming as like a geological playground because there's so many different parts
Yeah.
of the state and it's so uniquely different in every area. It feels like you're going through several different types of like biomes in a way. Like
Literally,
you're
because you have mountains and lakes and different terrains like the prairie.
and you have sand dunes, you have desert.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
over by Rock Springs, you have all the sand dunes in the desert. Yeah, and then you have like the buttes and all of that down
Yeah.
by Cheyenne. The Tetons, the huge mountain ranges,
Yeah.
the extensions of the Rockies. Like, have you been to the
Oh,
Tetons?
yeah.
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 Okay. That was something you grew up here though. So was that something that you did when you were younger, or did it
Yeah.
take you until you were?
Younger, the family vacations to
Yeah. Okay.
Yellowstone, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to see a lot more of that stuff because I've been so concentrated in this area, and I'm like nature has always really been a fascination for me.
Yeah.
Geological shit, like mountains and volcanoes
Yes.
and just oddities like that throughout the landscape has always been really interesting. This area is really interesting, and I wanted to see more of it. And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I'm selling this drone really cheap," and I'm like, "Well, drone would be cool because then I could just fly it around and like look at stuff that I can't get to,
Right.
because I'm not trying to like climb a mountain or anything,
No.
which I have before. I climbed to the top of Cloud Peak
Oh my
a few
gosh.
years ago, but like there's a lot of other things that you just can't get to, and there's so much privately owned property where it's like, it's legal to fly a drone over it.
Yeah.
Let's go
Let's
check
go
some
see.
let's go check some stuff out. Yeah, and then I needed a camera in order to edit, or not a camera, a computer in order to edit photos. So then it's like I got into the editing part, and then I got like a just your regular type of camera, and it just kind of grew from that, you
That's
know.
awesome.
But that was my main passion. Like I love that. I still love it. It's still
Yeah.
there. I haven't done it very often, but it's still there. Like I still love getting out and just wanting to capture whatever kind of beauty I can and
Yes.
share it with whoever I can.
I love it. It's so good. I even love like the abandoned houses or like,
Oh, there's so many of the
oh,
cool
yeah.
like the homestead houses and stuff
Yes.
that are still like scattered the landscapes.
Yes.
So
And they're
cool.
always in like the weirdest, oddest little spots. Like,
Yeah, and always like, and they're usually in like a super scenic spot
oh,
too.
yeah.
It's just like, you can really tell that like when those settlers or when those pioneers or homesteaders were like, this
This
is the
is
spot.
this
Like
is
they
it.
had like the primo real estate at that time because they had a choice of whatever they wanted.
Literally, you put your stick in the ground and that's
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Stake it out. It's yours.
Yep. Be honest, how many times have you almost tripped over household clutter or a pet while you're trying to get that perfect angle?
I think my favorite thing, I think the favorite thing that I've had to climb over and the most unexpected thing that I've had to climb over just to get into a house was a half disassembled Harley Davidson in the entryway.
Why do I not have a hard time picturing that here?
I don't know, but that's one thing that I've had to climb over, and then just ducking and dodging sellers when they refuse to leave.
Yes. All pets too, I'm
All
sure.
pets, yeah. Cats not so much. Cats usually they're super chill. They just want to like lay there and watch you do shit.
FYI to everyone, he's a secret cat lover.
I love cats.
Yeah. I'll get little pictures of cats in the listings.
Yeah, I don't Photoshop cats out.
No.
Sorry. It's just
They
they're
have
there.
good personalities.
Dogs, however, those can run havoc. So I'm super happy that that's one of the things that you make sure 100%
Always.
that dogs are gone.
You know, before real estate, I am a dog lover across the board, but before real estate, I had no idea how dogs can change so much when their owners are not there. They could be the sweetest, little, adorable, or big thing and turn into an absolutely violent attack dog.
Yes.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
so
it happen.
weird. They are super protective. And I mean, I get that. Like that's one of the huge, turn-ons about getting a dog is protection.
So when a seller's like, "Oh, the dog's friendly," I'm like, "No, we do not know."
It's friendly to
you. Yeah.
It's friendly to your friends when your friends are around you.
Yes, exactly.
It's not friendly to some dude just walking into the house.
And you're not a small dude either, so I'm sure they're like, "Oh."
And that's another thing I don't like. Why I don't like sellers being there too, because I mean, shoot, there's been instances where real estate photographers have shown up and almost been shot.
Yeah.
Because of miscommunication with real estate agents and stuff. So it's just like, I'm so sketch about that how many times am I texting you? Are these people leaving?
Yeah. You will be like,
they're gone,
okay, there's
right?
another car. Like, I need an explanation. And I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like super introverted anyway. So.
Yeah, I totally get it. All right. What made you get into real estate photography? Was it a divine calling or a really bad Tinder date?
At this point now, I feel like it's a divine calling, but before it felt like a Tinder date.
Did it?
Yeah.
When you first got into it, was it just like figuring it out, and now you have it pretty
now that
centered?
I have it figured out, it's not terrifying in any sort of way.
Good.
I used to worry so much about like my pictures not being good enough, or I'm going to send these pictures and then I feel bad about charging for them because
really?
I used to be really sketch about that because it's like I've always worked on a level that like I want to be fair to the people that I'm working for.
For
like
sure.
I'm not just trying to gouge the shit out of people. So I didn't change my prices when COVID was going on and like houses were like
the second you listen, you almost didn't need pictures.
Right. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like, I'm doing so much work. I should probably be charging more. But then I'm like sitting there like, oh, if I charge more, then I'm just going to feel like I'm taking advantage of a situation. So like,
I remember we even talked about it.
Yeah, we did. So I always have this like I want to keep it fair.
That's cool.
Way, so I've always been worried about like sending photos and then them not being good enough and then
they're
charging
always exceptional
more for that. But when I first started, it was a little different.
To you?
To me, yeah.
To the average person, though, they've always been great.
But I owe that credit to my brother, who's a real estate agent in Troy, Michigan, and then I also owe that to a real estate agent that used to work here in town. She moved away. But she allowed me to just kind of step foot into houses, like vacant ones, and just
have at it.
Yeah, goof around, try it out.
Everybody needs that first, starting point.
They do. I think opening doors for others, I think feels much better than just holding it all to yourself in a way. You know?
Agreed.
The way I look at least the real estate photography, the photography and video community altogether is. I don't necessarily look at it as competition. I see it as community. at least for me, then I felt like, there's more than enough to go around. And that's why I ended up hiring somebody and training them and teaching them how to do it, because it's like, you have a passion to do this. I think you could do a great job in it.
Yeah.
And he is doing a great job in it.
Yeah.
And I'm super proud of him, but
that's so cool.
I like where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
I'm thankful we found you.
Well, yeah. What were you doing before that? So what were you doing in that gap between?
You're going to hate it.
What?
I was using my cell phone. But you know what? You got to give me a little bit of credit, because I would take cell phone pictures and then I would work really hard on the angles and then I would edit them myself. And it took a ton of time.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet it took a ton of time, because it's a lot to work on.
Yeah.
Cell phone pictures are not an easy task.
No. The quality is just not there.
The HDR that iPhones have in them are nice, but I feel like they're so oddly saturated.
Yes.
And then not only that, but you're working off of an image.
Yeah.
Rather than a data file.
Yeah.
Which is what a camera takes, as a data file. So you have so much more push and pull. You have so much more to work with.
Yeah.
With a data file, like a JPEG from a iPhone camera, it's just gonna fall apart the second you start to try and edit.
Yes. And then sometimes I would just get so frustrated. So yeah, that's what I did in the in-between period.
Do you have any questions in there about my thoughts on real estate agents using cell phone photos?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do you want me to find
We'll
it?
hold on.
Hold on. Now. Okay. All right.
But
it's in
we can
here,
move through these,
and it's going to be so great. Can't wait. How many times have you had to Photoshop out something weird, like a goat in a backyard or a toilet seat up? What's the worst thing you've had to Photoshop out?
Well, I think the worst things that I would have to Photoshop out are the things that I actually want to leave in the photos. There was a point where I was almost using photos as a look at what you're doing kind of thing to the agents. I never did this to you.
No, because I'm particular.
Well, you are particular, and you've asked for changes before on things, and you never pissed me off. You always have the houses set up how I want them. You have the people gone. You have the animals removed. Usually, they have it cleaned up pretty nice.
Yeah. And if it's not, it's better than it was.
If it's not, it's probably better than it was. Yeah. So no, there wasn't any reason for that. But it's a lot of the times it's I wouldn't around editing stuff out, because it's look at what you're leaving me to do. I'm asking you to have these people prep these houses better. This is what you're getting if you're not
involved with your clients.
Right.
So they weren't doing the prep work that I take the time to do with any of my clients, my sellers, and let them know your home is going to look better if you do this, this, and this.
Yes. Declutter your dang sinks and all that stuff.
Do you think other agents don't do that?
No.
Really?
I don't. No.
Would you just show up and they'd be making breakfast? And
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's happened.
No.
Not breakfast, but dinner. Just in the middle of cooking dinner, and I'm like...
Pull up a chair, bud.
Yeah, I didn't know there'd be dinner.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's dude, I have to photograph your house. What are you doing? And she's like, oh, well, I just figured I could step away when... you got shit all over the counters because you're cooking. What are you going to do with all of this? I want to take a picture of this kitchen so I can leave.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I'll get the whole house done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And they think it's going to take me an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm ready to go. You need to pack this shit up.
Yeah. Well, and then when we get really busy and you have houses back to back, that can totally derail the rest of your day, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I used to be stacked up house after house after house, it was strict time limit.
Yeah.
This just got to go now, or I'm coming back tomorrow.
We're rescheduling. Yeah.
And I might not even be able to come back tomorrow, depending on the time of year.
Yeah. No kidding.
If it's summer, you're screwed for a little bit. You need to be on top of your game. Sellers need to be on top of their game 100% of the time, because I'm not going to around with this shit.
No.
If your house is not ready, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Plus, how good are those pictures going to turn out?
Right, because
it doesn't matter how good of a photographer you are.
Essentially, in the end, I want to deliver the best product, and if I'm not delivering the best product, then I don't feel like I'm doing a service to the
Exactly.
agent. So it's not me just being a dick where like, hey, like this just doesn't look good enough.
No.
It's that it can, and you were not given proper instructions, or you were given proper instructions and you just decided not to do it, or you wanted to clean everything at the last minute and you
Right.
got
Which
backed
I
up.
would say a lot of sellers do things last minute, but like waiting until you're there is pretty bad. Would you be mad at the sellers or the real estate agents then?
I would always be mad at the real estate agents.
Yeah. Because the sellers weren't given the proper instructions.
I don't think it matters either way. I feel like if they were given proper instructions, I feel like that house should have been visited and checked before the
True.
appointment was made, or not even necessarily before the appointment was made, but
I do that on ones that I'm concerned about.
you do?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that.
So, like the ones I'm concerned about, I will run there before you're scheduled to get there. And then usually I'll be like, oh, I forgot to get a key or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then you
then
just
those are
kind
the
of
ones
peep
we
on
end
it.
up rescheduling last minute. I just
Mm.
don't tell you why.
Well, that's awesome of you to do that, because I hate going somewhere and not being able to do what I needed to do.
Well, yeah, that
'Cause
wastes your time.
yeah, and now like, what if the next day I had the day off, but now I got to go
Yeah.
shoot your house because you didn't have your living room decluttered or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I'm always mad at the agent with those. I
Well,
think
no
it's the
wonder we
agent's
got along
fault.
so well.
Yeah, I never really had much of an issue with you.
That's
You know,
good. All right. Do you have a signature shot or an angle that screams John Balk was here?
I don't think I have a signature angle or shot. I feel like I have a overall different way to view taking photos than most.
Okay,
I
describe.
think I think I try to take them in more of a way of adding depth, a little bit more of a way of trying to add mood or emotion to it, rather than just a stagnant like angled shot.
Kind of like a force focus, like you're
Yeah,
talking about for
yeah, force
perception,
perspective.
perspective.
Yeah, because you want the client, or you want the potential buyer, or really any buyer for any product. I mean,
Right.
it's you want to be creative with it, because you want to, for one, you want it to look different than everything else. You want it to stand out.
Yeah.
But you want to create a bit of a mood for that, for whoever it is that's either purchasing a house or purchasing a product, to be able to envision themselves in that, or envision, themselves in a house, or get a feeling from that house where it's just like, oh yeah, like there's things I can do with this.
Right.
Whereas if you just take just a blank, wide open photo, it's very generic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very plain. It's very boring.
Yeah.
So yeah, throw some foreground elements in there, shoot through some plants or something,
Yeah.
add some depth
I
to
love
it.
when you do like the tree.
Yeah, like you get a little bit of like front yard shot where you have the door and you have like a tree set up in the front, and it just adds that little level of depth. It adds that little bit of character to the
Yeah.
home. It's really weird when you're trying to like photograph such a just stationary object in a
Right.
way, as opposed to like a person that can actually show emotion.
Some
You have to
some
bring it.
movement.
Yes, you have to bring all of that out in a living room
Like, which
or a bedroom
kudos to you.
or a
'Cause
bathroom.
yeah.
But
Well,
when you really get into that kind of stuff, I mean, when you think of like a bathroom tub, like what makes you feel good about that is like that little bit of light coming in from the window, and
Yeah.
like the little soaps and stuff that you have on like the board that goes across the tub, and
yep.
you get like that nice little angle with maybe like a little plant in it or something that's sitting up on
Yeah.
the sink basin or something, and you get just this nice little like layered detail shot of this like nice tub. You can almost envision yourself sitting in that tub at that point.
Yeah.
But if you're in like a wide open shot of a bathroom, it's hard to put yourself in a singular area, or it's hard to put yourself into that because it's just such a generic vanilla
Right.
looking shot.
Or it doesn't create a mood
No.
where, like, as you're describing this tub, I'm sure the viewer or the potential purchaser is looking at it like, oh man, I would love to soak in that after a long day at
Yeah, I
work.
could
Like,
relax in that,
yeah.
you know.
Whereas if you have some wide angle shot, you're probably
Well,
like,
your
oh,
brain's
that's a
scattered.
bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
brain's scattered into all kinds of things. Like there's a sink, there's a shower, there's a bathtub, there's a toilet,
exactly.
there's rugs on the floor, there's all this. But when you're focusing that perspective into one feeling in that tub, yeah, you're gonna have a wide shot of that bathroom anyways, but
Yeah.
you're also gonna bring it down into like something a little more personal,
Yes.
And I think that
And
adds
that is the key.
that adds those touches to everything. And now I just gave everybody ideas on how to do those things, but it's like whatever.
uh, all right. What's one camera trick that makes you look like a wizard, but it's actually super simple?
It's removing things in post.
Oh
It's
gosh.
removing things. I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, when you're talking about like removing half of a house because there's a camper in the way, that gets to
You
be a little
pick
bit
me.
difficult.
You had to
Yeah.
do that.
Well, I do that just because,
Yeah.
I do that because obviously I want your listings to look superior. So I always take that extra little bit of time to remove trash cans or,
I'm so sorry. We
yard,
have tons of trash cans.
like the people that like, oh, we got a great curb appeal, but the backyard, we're just going to have a mountain of play school toys. And
Why I can't help laughing because it's the truth.
it is the truth. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's clean up the backyard. And clean up the backyard means throw all the toys under the deck.
Yep.
So now you got this like,
So now you're having to like
yeah,
Photoshop it all.
it's like you got this beautiful backyard and then like Skid Row under the deck. And it's,
Don't look.
yeah, like it's like, ugh,
Oh gosh.
just get rid of all that stuff. But yeah, like removing objects, I think like people look at that and be like, holy crap, like that's got to be difficult to remove all those objects and make it look so natural still. But it's simple, and it's like it makes you look like a superhero in a way.
Yeah.
You
You are a
give
superhero. All right. Let's talk gear. What's in your bag right now that you'd cry over if you broke?
my cinema camera.
You would cry, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I
You would be hella mad.
I would cry big time. And that camera is this is shooting this angle that you're looking at right now, but that camera was like $7,000.
You bought that, I want to say, just a few years ago, right?
Just a few years ago,
Yep.
I bought that, and that was like a moment in my life where I was like, I made it.
Yes,
You know,
I bet.
I'm not using photography cameras anymore to shoot video. I mean, I still do. Like all these other angles
Yeah. Well, you have like a billion cameras in here right now.
are
So
other
like,
are just like your like Canon cameras,
yeah.
point and shoot, but they also do video, but they do video very well.
Yeah.
And I would be sad if the other camera broke too. I mean, geez, I'm sitting here thinking about my equipment breaking, and it's like
You're having a mini panic attack.
like there's probably like $30,000 in my backpack.
Yeah.
And it's like if I was to just lose that backpack, my whole life would be gone.
Yeah. I remember one time you lost your
Don't steal
cards
my
because
stuff.
you're very organized and you lost a few of your cards and you were freaking out.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
I
were
was
like
pissed.
frantically looking for them.
I still haven't. I still don't think I found them.
It was right when you moved, so I think you lost some of
Yeah,
that in the
there's
move.
there's a few things that I lost in my move when I did move, and I've had a couple things break in the past, but thankfully they weren't like anything expensive.
Oh.
It's the one thing that I worry about because and drones. I've been through
How many?
3 drones now, 2 of which just got absolutely annihilated. That was a heartbreaking day. It wasn't in my bag, but I mean it's in my bag of tricks. But it's the drone that I had. I went to go shoot a ranch property. It wasn't one of yours. This was a few
Good.
years ago.
I was about
but,
to ask.
I went to shoot a ranch property, and I think the agent was there with me, and I don't remember if I got like way too into talking about something as I was bringing the drone back, but I ended up like skimming the top of a tree, and it just ever so lightly just like came to a stop in the tree. So it's just like sitting there, and I'm like,
It's
how am
like
I going to get this down?
50 feet in the air somewhere.
Yeah. So what
You need a rescue
happened?
drone.
Yeah, a rescue drone would have been cool, but but what eventually happened was I had to leave because I had another appointment, so I couldn't sit there and think about it. And the real estate agent was like, "Well, I'll talk to the rancher and see if he's got anything that can get it down." I was like, "Cool, yeah, let me know." And then she messaged me. She's like, "He got it out of the tree, but I don't know if it's okay." And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking like, well, maybe a propeller broke because when it landed in the
Right,
tree,
that makes
it just
sense.
came to a nice rest in the tree. It's not like it buzzed right into it and
Yeah,
blew
you would tell by the
apart.
camera.
Right. It just and then sat there. So I'm like, okay, well maybe one of the propellers hit a branch and it cracked a propeller. Those are cheap and easy to fix.
Yeah.
No, the dude scooped it out of the tree with a backhoe
Stop it.
and just
How
knocked it
come
out
I
of
never heard this story before?
no.
That's terrible.
And then it just
A
came
backhoe?
crashing down onto the concrete that was under it and
He
blew
might
into
as well have
pieces.
shot it down.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You might as well
no.
just set the tree on fire and
Yeah. That's
just
so
let it
bad.
all come
I'm
down.
so sorry.
I know. I looked at that and I'm like, well, this is fucked. So then I had to go buy a new drone. So drones by far are that piece of equipment that is like incredibly fragile, and it's like miniature little heart palpitations every time I'm flying it. I'm just like, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh. And then like, ooh, it's super bad in the country, so, like in the rural areas, because sometimes you'll be like getting really into these shots,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden this power line will just zoom like
Oh,
come like
gosh.
right under it, like you just missed a
Missed it?
power line, and
Yeah.
you're like, that's the worst. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
if my drone breaks, it's a bad day. I do have a backup, but it's not like it's not as cool as the one that I use all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a cheap backup. I'd
That's
rather
good.
not use it.
Yeah.
But yeah. That or the cinema camera. If either of those two break, I would lose my shit.
Noted. I'm going to
Yeah.
get you a bubble wrap backpack for your cinnamon can.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, what's the most unrealistic thing a realtor has asked you to do in a shoot? We won't name names unless you want to.
The most unrealistic thing.
Yep. That means you thought of
You
something
know,
good.
you know, there's not a whole lot of unrealistic things when it comes to just shooting a property. I think sometimes real estate agents think that I can shoot like 100 acres with the drone and have it look,
Like a picture.
yeah. But you're only legally allowed to fly a certain height above the ground level,
Yeah.
and it's 400 feet.
Oh, so you cannot capture that much with
No,
400 feet.
the tops that I can capture and have it still look good and be able to like look at that chunk of property and be like, okay, that looks like a good sized piece of property, is about I would say 20 to 40 acres. Past 40 acres, like your client that had that all that land out
Yeah, north of
off the
town.
cut across road
Yep, yep.
to Upton.
Mm-hmm.
That was really difficult.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
super difficult.
Because
It
those
was
were
like
like
multiple
plots of 40.
yeah,
So,
it was multiple plots of 40. So it was like at that kind of like limit,
uh-huh.
and then also having to like map out all the different lines, and then he had like his fences weren't where fences were
No.
supposed to be.
Because they parceled stuff off on the inside of them. So it wasn't a quick overlay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the times the more impossible things to do are when real estate agents want property outlines on gigantic pieces of property.
I can
It
think of
just-
ones we've sold, like
I've tried.
big ranches. You've done really good. You've never
Yeah.
complained.
No, well, you had that one ranch, but how many acres was that one, the one north of town?
I think it was like 1,600.
This just never would
It
have
was
happened.
huge, yeah.
I
think
don't
we
even
ended
think
up-
I tried.
No, I think you took aerials of what you could, and then we ended up doing like a parcel overlay or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then when it comes to real estate agents, when you're either shooting video with them in the video, and it's not you, but or if you're like updating some headshots or something,
Yes.
make me look skinny.
Oh, you mean you can't do that?
No, nobody can do that
Give me
on
the
video.
Ozempic
Well,
version.
maybe you can on video, but it's like I'm always like,
do you just say yes?
I'm like, okay.
That's like
even
awesome
though like
answer.
I have no idea how to do it, and I'm not even going to contemplate how to make you look thinner on video. On photo, it's like,
well, that's easy.
you know, you can
kind of cinch it in,
cinch
right?
it in, but it still ends up. It's like it's such a task to make it look natural, and it's like, why are you trying to do that? Like, this photo looks like you.
Yes.
Like, granted, maybe you feel like you're heavier than what you should, but like to the average person, they don't give a shit.
It's not gonna matter to them if you're 10 pounds heavier or lighter.
No. And like squeezing in all these little bits on a photo, it just starts to make you look not like you.
Yeah.
And it's like your self-confidence is making everyone else's life a little difficult.
No one's gonna recognize you.
No.
How many times have you looked at a real estate agent's like business card or their photo or whatever, and then met them in person, and you're like,
that is not you. There's been a handful for
Oh my
sure,
gosh.
but it's like, are you getting glamour shots done for your
yourself?
Yeah, like, is your headshot, it's like so overdone and over the top that it looks nothing like you. And there's one, I don't know if I should mention the name, but I know you can see it on the interstate, and it's like, that's not what you look like.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think like 90% of them don't look like it.
I don't think a lot of them do. And also, what's with the leans?
Oh, like leaning against everything?
Yeah, what's like the arms crossed
know.
with the lean back? Like South Park made fun of that
They
big
did.
time, and I'm like, that's so spot on.
It is. That is so funny.
I'm like, that is so spot
I
on.
love their real estate episode, by the way. It's
so good.
It is so spot on with everything.
Does it, like, how do you feel about that? Like,
The
as a
leans?
realtor watching that?
I laugh because it's the very tried and true like things that people make fun of for real estate agents because it's just so
Accurate?
cliche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly accurate. Like from
Like, oh, gotta get more lean,
yeah,
more lean.
a little more lean. I don't know why they do that, but they all post the solds or whatever with their leaning photo on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's like you're almost.
I must have missed that memo.
Yeah, it's like they're almost leaning out of the picture. It's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to make this horizontal because like a vertical shot of this, like you're leaning out of it.
That's so
It's
funny.
just so bad.
Maybe the crossed arms. I don't know.
What is it like? How do you get your visions for your headshot updates and stuff? Like, because you update
Pretty frequently.
frequently,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
But like, do you like, you don't necessarily follow the typical real estate trends when it comes
No.
to things like that, and I think that's amazing that you are visually different because it sets you apart more.
Yeah,
you know?
it does.
But like, how are you like, what are you coming up with when you're thinking of these? Like, you had the one that was the solid red background, which was really cool ones. And you still use them. Like, you got them up in the office here. Oh wait, no, maybe that's not it.
They've all evolved, but yeah,
Yeah.
we have similar ones still up all around.
I think you and Jamie always have some great pictures.
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We've had some good pictures, but like where I come up with all that stuff is I'm constantly trying to learn more about marketing and how a buyer perceives things and just the whole cycle of what intrigues people when they see something. So if you ever talk to my husband and he's talking to you about how I watch TV, I will pay attention to all the commercials, and I couldn't tell you a thing about the game or the show we're watching, but I could tell you everything about every commercial.
What is it about the commercials that you like so much?
I like A really well done commercial will capture you and will totally sell you on a product without you even knowing anything about the product.
Or even knowing you needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've studied that for just over the last 20 years of selling things to people.
So on at your point right now, like as a real estate agent, how important has marketing been for you?
The biggest thing. The biggest thing. If you were to look at my books and see what I spend on marketing, you would probably be absolutely shocked.
I probably honestly wouldn't, because you probably budget for marketing the way that a business should budget for marketing.
Right. It's not an optional. It takes up a good portion of my budget, and it's something that even when times get slower, I will actually increase. So,
That's what you should do.
yeah, and that's when most people will retract because to
Mhm.
them it's an optional cost, but to me it's not.
Yeah. And then when you're really busy, you don't back off of it. You just keep
No.
going.
And those two things are, I think, a flaw in any business is when they back off on any marketing when it's slow or busy. To me, it's like built into my schedule, just like how we record and how we do things on the side for our marketing. It's
Yeah.
all scheduled and
Oh,
like
yeah.
clockwork.
Yeah,
It is
it
not an
is.
option.
No, no, it's not. And I don't think it should be. I think consistency is key with marketing as much
Yeah.
as it is with anything else.
Yeah.
If you're not consistent with your marketing, eventually, like, you are just a blink in the existence of someone's thoughts.
Well said.
And if that person isn't constantly reminded that you exist, you don't exist.
Right. It doesn't matter how good an ad was or how it
No,
resonated with them. It could
no.
disappear in 2 seconds if you're
Yeah.
not
As soon as the
constantly
next
there.
better ad comes
Yeah.
on for something else, they've already forgot about you.
Yeah.
It's the consistency that keeps you in mind. And even if the market is shit,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great time to advertise.
Yeah.
Because once that market comes out, then who
Who
are
you
they
think?
thinking of? The person that
Exactly.
they've been seeing over and over and over again this whole time that things have been shitty,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
my hope is like over 10, 15, 20 years after seeing my face a million times, eventually you're going to buy or sell something. And I hope it's me you think about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, marketing is probably my main game.
As it should be. I think that's going to take you farther than anything. I mean, you've done all of this practically by yourself, and the point that you're at right now, I think is heavily due in part because of the marketing that you do.
That's good to hear.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a fantastic agent in itself, but like, I think your notoriety, like not notoriety, I think that's probably a bad word to say, but your everyone knows you
Yeah.
in town. If you go to anyone, even somebody that's never bought a house, and said, "Do you know who Jessica LaCour is?"
They'll probably say yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. This one's going to be a funny one, probably a quick question, but um, have you, as a photographer, how do you deal with clients that say, can you just Photoshop that out? And things like power lines or ugly neighbors, can you shop that out?
No, you can't.
Or take 10 pounds off of me?
Well, the issue with that, like people asking to Photoshop things out like power lines or anything like that, honestly, I think if a real estate agent asked me to do that, I would do it, but I would do it with a warning of your running the risk of misrepresentation.
Yes.
Property misrepresentation.
And that is something that we should not do.
No,
So,
you shouldn't be doing it.
No. So
But if you ask me to do it, I'm going to do it. It's still your fault. You're the one that's putting those
you're like,
pictures on the
you signed the
MLS.
disclaimer.
Yeah. I have nothing to do with that because I'm just a photographer.
Yeah.
But I would heavily suggest not doing that because that is property misrepresentation. If you go to a house that you thought was incredible and then you get there and there's a giant water tower behind it in your backyard,
That's
you'd
terrible.
be pissed.
Yeah. Well, you're probably not even going to go into the house for
You're
one.
probably not going to go into the
No.
house. But that is I don't think the MLS would be very happy about that.
No, they would not.
I don't think the Realtor Association here in town would be too
Nope.
happy about that either.
No.
I
Probably
think
so.
that would be a bad move to do. So would I do that? Yeah, but you know, it's only going to be it's going to come with the warning of you're doing something really stupid doing that.
Yeah.
What I don't understand with the MLS is why are you not allowed to use somebody else's photos if you have expressed permission or paid for licensing them again?
From my point of view, it is because you're not taking photos and they're probably not accurate of what the property is today.
Okay.
So again, misrepresentation in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you had photos from when a property was like listed a year or two ago,
mm-hmm.
and I'm listing it again, and it's not so nice because the renters have been in it for 2 years, do you think it's accurate representation to use the old photos?
Well, I don't know.
This is what it could
I don't know.
be.
I don't know because let's look at it this way. Do they give a shit about the shitty furniture and decorations in the inside, or does it have to look like?
What if it's had heavy wear and tear, like pets?
Okay, I think if there's heavy wear and tear, then yeah,
because we had a
be
property
getting
like
into
this.
yeah, you'd be getting into property misrepresentation. But I feel like if nothing structural, there's no like holes in the wall, like everything like
Just
structurally and cosmetically was kept up, but the home or the tenants or homeowners were just absolute slobs.
Yeah.
And it was just messy.
Then I think it's in the seller's advantage.
Yeah, to use the old photos
Right.
when it looked really nice.
Yeah.
Because does it really matter at that point, the furnishings on the inside?
No. And
Because
especially if it's just cosmetic, like you're saying, then I think it's okay.
Yeah, because I've actually had a realtor tell me that they couldn't use the same photos because there was different furniture. And I was like, why would that
Not
make
furniture.
it different?
No.
Like, why would that make a difference?
The
Because that's not what the
furniture-
property looks like right now.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't, but it doesn't change anything about the property,
Yeah, no.
you know?
If it's
so.
just furniture, then that's totally fine. Especially if it's like listings that I've had in the past and we've reused them because it's just mine.
Yeah, or, like what's really good is you had a listing that was supposed to go live in the summer.
Yeah.
And then they ditched out, and then now they want to list it in the winter. Now you have the opportunity
Nice
of using
green.
summer photos for the
Yeah.
exteriors.
I love
You
that.
know.
So good. All right. Here's a juicy one. What makes a real estate agent your dream client and what makes one your recurring nightmare? Don't hold back.
I've had recurring nightmares.
Do tell.
Yeah, pay your real estate photographer.
I can't believe that's an issue.
You know what's funny?
You actually charge so little compared to what my friends in other states pay their photographers.
I know, because like what a average real estate photography package pricing in this market, or in other markets like Boston or LA or even like smaller.
What about like
places
even
that-
in Utah? Like
Yeah, like even like outside Salt Lake.
Colorado.
But you get into like those kinds of areas, not like middle of nowhere Wyoming. The market supports that. Here it doesn't. Plus, on top of that, like the majority of the real estate agents in town are cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a struggle for them to even want to get professional photos. Like go look through the MLS. How many photos are cell phone pictures?
Yeah, true. Thumb in the middle.
Yeah,
Like literally
just go,
uploaded with the thumb on it.
yeah,
And might be sideways.
and that's reoccurring nightmares. I mean, that goes back to like the payment shit. Like, it's like I would know when a real estate agent was about to want me to shoot another listing because they would finally pay their bill that's been sitting for a month and a half.
Stop
It's like,
it.
oh my God, they finally paid. And then
I'm
it's
so
like,
excited.
then you'd get an appointment for another one from them. And it's like, that's why you paid, because you have like that kind of shit. What makes a real estate agent a dream to work with is one that wants a limited amount of photos, like 20 photos for the house, 15, 20 photos for the house,
Not
maybe
100.
tops. Yeah, not 100.
Do most
Um,
agents want 100?
no, I don't think, I don't, none of them ever asked me if there was more.
Really?
I think that like, I always see it with Remax. They got like 140 fing photos for one house. And by the time you get
Who
through,
wants to upload that many?
I have no idea.
I don't want
But
to click through them.
no, I don't want to click through them either. And
Yeah.
then it's like you'd see them on Facebook or whatever, and you start looking through it, and you're 20 pictures in, and you're not even inside the house yet. You're like, what is this? I'm
Yeah.
bored.
Bye. I've
Scroll
seen a lot of
on.
oak. I don't want to
Yeah,
take it
like
apart.
get like a nice establishing shot, like
Yeah.
good centered front yard shot.
Then you don't need 20 others.
No.
Yeah.
Like why? Why do you need 6 pictures of the same
Yeah.
tree from different angles?
You don't. You're there
No.
to tease.
Yes.
It's like a dating app. You're not going to
Yes.
show every picture of yourself from every angle.
No, so a real estate agent that has the home prepped, they know the home's prepped, they have an exact way to get into the house. The sellers are gone, the animals are gone, besides the cats or little gerbils or whatever. You don't need to bring your hamsters with you, but you have all of that. You have the clutter prepped away. Everything's prepped really nice. Windows open, ceiling fans off. I don't know why it's like, oh, we're gonna take pictures. Let's have this moving object whipping around in every
That
single
makes a
room.
ton of sense. Maybe I should highlight that.
Yeah, stop with the ceiling fans. And take your fucking Green Bay Packers fleece blanket off your window. You know, because
Yes.
that's just
Or the tin off the window.
Yeah, or the tinfoil. Like we're not fucking cooking meth in your bedroom. Like we don't need to hide from the cops. Like take that down. I know you need to sleep during the days because you work at night, but like take it down for the photos because
Right.
it looks good.
Well, it's like you take all your bathroom stuff and put it under the sink for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same thing with the windows.
Yeah.
Just at least for the shoot.
Yeah, everything that comes down can go right back up.
Exactly. It doesn't
in,
mean
like,
you have to
20
like
minutes.
permanently.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not that difficult to put tinfoil over.
So just having the property ready makes your dream client.
Just buy some blackout curtains. Like
Easy.
you can get blackout curtains for like $35-$40 on Amazon that
Yeah.
are like beautiful quality.
Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
They,
Or Walmart.
actually, they look just like the really high end stuff.
Yeah.
Not hard.
Yeah. I think I got a set. I got a set off Amazon for like $40 and they're just amazing. Like
Yeah.
there isn't, my room is so dark in the morning, and it keeps that like heat.
Oh yeah, because that one window faces that probably
Yeah.
gets really hot.
Both my bedroom windows face the front where
Yep.
the sun comes up. So every morning before I had those, it was just steaming hot in that room. So
Ew.
it's like I got the windows tinted
Yeah.
with like a reflective tint, really dark, and then the blackout curtains. Yeah, and
Yeah, I bet that
it's
did a
so
really good
dark
job.
in there. Yeah, it is. It's really good. Like, what does window tint do anything for?
I think
a
it
home?
does reflect it.
Well,
Well,
does it do anything for a home? Like, I mean,
appeal.
just
It's
appeal.
it's
Yeah.
like, doing little extra cosmetic-y things that are gonna create some appeal for the buyer. Yeah. But as far as like value, not so much, but like it's appealing, especially that area of your room is gonna get really hot. And
Yeah.
if
it
you ever,
helps
yeah.
keep gas prices down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it helps in the winter though too.
Or not gas. I think it's just electricity because it helps reduce the cooling needed.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You're right.
but yeah, that's what I would say. Good realtor. Good realtor is one that has everything ready.
And then the bad
A
one.
bad one is one that never pays you and they never do anything.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It's like every time, like, are the sellers there? Question mark. Yeah, they're there waiting for you. Or they're just gonna hang out until you get there and let you in. It's like, I know how to work a door.
Or
You
they
know,
want to show you around. And then
or they're-
next thing
yeah,
you
they're
know,
like,
it's 3
"Oh."
hours have gone by.
They want to hang out in case you need anything moved. I don't need to move anything if you,
know what
have the
I've told
house
people?
ready.
You know what I've told people when they said that to me? I'm like, oh, he's a big guy. He can handle it.
Yeah. I think he can move a table. Like, why do I need to move anything?
You shouldn't.
No.
Mm-mm.
Why do I need to move anything?
Mm-mm.
You know?
Yeah. I think that people are protective of their homes, which they should be. But
Yeah,
at the
but
same
it's
time,
quite
if
obvious
you
who stole
explain
your
it-
stuff.
yeah. I'm like, I've worked with this guy for over 7 years. He's very professional. show them your website or whatever, and like then they're like, oh, so it just takes a little more explaining, and then they trust you with everything.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's a huge personal
Yeah.
invasion
And
in
for
a
a lot of
way.
people, you only sell a house 1 or 2 times. Like it's not.
Yeah. Like for me, it's like it doesn't bother me in a way because like if somebody needed to borrow something from me and I wasn't at home, like I'd be like, here's the door code.
Right.
Go get
Well,
it.
I do the same thing too. Like I never lock my
Yeah.
door. It's just
Right.
like, but I think you and I are both immune to that because we go into other people's homes all the time. For a long period of time we've done that.
Yeah.
I remember the first few times I showed and I felt awkward. Now, it's no thing to walk up to people's houses.
And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, so if you have some jewelry go missing, it's quite obvious who took it at
Yeah,
that point.
right.
You
And
know?
the majority of houses have cameras now.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh, that's a big thing too.
should we talk about that for a second?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that for a second. That's
What
creepy.
does it make you feel weird?
It makes me feel really weird. Like I always feel like they're just sitting there watching, and I'm sure they are. So
I have a funny story about this when you're done.
what I always worry about is saying something stupid.
Do you talk to yourself? You do.
I don't necessarily talk to myself, but I'll like comment out loud on some things sometimes. Like if I walk into a bedroom that is just like atrocious, I'll be like,
Oh, damn.
ugh. But I have to sit there and think about it
Oh
when
my
I walk
gosh.
in, like, oh, they got a Ring doorbell. They probably have
Yeah.
everything freaking like microphones everywhere and cameras and teddy bears and stuff. So it's like I always walk in, I'll be like, oh, it's so beautiful in here.
You do? That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Most of the time I say it because I mean it, but sometimes I just say it just because I know there's a camera there.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, it's
That's
so
really
pretty in
smart.
here.
That's really smart. So I have a funny story about this. Like now it's common for pretty much every house to have literally a door camera, a ring, and then interior and exterior cameras. It's no big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like if you were to go back like 5, 7 years ago, that was like very, very uncommon. So I would talk freely with my clients when I was showing properties. And I got a call from the listing agent, and he was like, yeah, so the sellers want to know why you said X, Y, and Z about their house. And I was like, first of all,
Busted.
how did they know? And then I felt so violated because I had no idea there was a camera in there. It was literally like a teddy cam in the living room. I know. I felt so violated. Like,
For some reason, I feel like that should be like those things should be turned off during
right?
showings because in a sense I feel like there's a way that like sellers could leverage something from the buyers off of something that they say
Oh,
or like
totally.
I feel like that could
But
be used against somebody like it was well used against you, but I feel like there's a way that it could be used against the buyers
it
in
can
some
go
sort of
both
way,
ways, and you're totally right. It could go against the buyer, but shame on them for talking when
Mhm.
they know that there probably are cameras. Like, I usually will talk to my buyers, and Jamie does the same thing. She'll be like, hey, we'll discuss this later after we've looked at the home. So everybody knows, keep your mouth zipped because sometimes buyers will say really rude things if they don't like the house. And then next thing you know, you have a pissed off seller, and
Mhm.
hopefully it's not my seller,
Yeah.
because they're calling me. So it can go
Yeah.
both ways. But then if buyers are saying something about, hey, they could go higher, but let's start lower, and the sellers hear that, we know how we're countering back.
Yeah.
So the buyers
Yeah.
just totally gave an out.
Yeah.
So if you have like older agents that are showing that are just completely oblivious to cameras
Technology.
around, yeah, that sucks for them.
Yeah, I always wondered that because it gives it feels like it gives the sellers an advantage of in some degree because and I don't think that that's something that we should have. I think all home purchases should be left unbiased between the buyer and the seller. Like I don't think that there should be any kind of discrimination in any sort of way.
But if you give us knowledge, and I'm going to instruct you how to use that
Well, yeah,
knowledge.
you can
Yeah.
use. There's a lot of things that you can use against people
Yeah.
to gain advantage over shit.
Yeah,
And
and
I
that
think,
would be one of them.
yeah, so I think it should be a thing. Turn those cameras.
We don't need
off.
another rule.
I know you have too many rules.
Twilight photos or sunny daytime shots?
Twilight.
Blooper reel or perfectly polished edit?
Ooh, perfectly polished edit.
Really?
I know.
I
it
wouldn't have
sounds
guessed
silly,
that.
but it's like
Ranch house or a two-story stunner?
two-story stunner.
Yeah, because it's different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, more caffeine or more megapixels?
More caffeine. Yeah.
All right. If your camera had a name and a personality, what would it be?
I think it's this camera. Well, no, that camera's like bougie. Like that'd be like a Kim Kardashian camera.
That's great.
This one's just like, I think that camera would be Nick.
A Nick?
And I think Nick's like just one of those just silly dudes that never did anything with his life, and he's just like the life of the party. I think that's that one.
Good old trusty
That
Nick.
one's yeah, that one's bougie.
What's the middle one?
The middle one's just that. I don't even think that one. That one's just so above everything else that it's above existence itself. It's an entity instead of it's like a god.
Okay, so it's got to have like 3 names.
Yeah, it has it depends on the language and the belief that you believe in with this camera. All the like sects, like SECTS.
Yes, sectors.
Yeah, of the different forms of religion of this camera. Call it something different, but it's just a god.
We should like think up some Greek mythology god.
Yeah,
To...
of where you came from.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say to agents still using iPhone pics from 2016 for their listings?
You're doing a huge disservice to your clients. This is the number one thing that pisses me off more than anything in the world is real estate agents that do not use professionals for photography. I don't even care if you use your niece that got a camera kit for her birthday.
Valid, yeah.
Don't you? And people are always like, oh, but iPhones are so good these days. Like, yeah, but they are, but they're not. They don't, for one, like, architectural photography is so based on angle. And not only that, but like having a certain percentage of ceiling versus floor, plus straight vertical lines with your walls.
Yeah.
Like you move your camera like anything but perfectly like level on every single axis.
Yes.
It's going to look weird.
Yes.
You're going to have that like Ving, that bowing of wall angles and it's distortions.
Yeah.
And everything looks crooked. But not only that, but like you're saying to your client that $150 to have your house photographed is not even worth it to me.
Yeah, exactly. And if that $150 is too much, then you're not charging enough.
And what is that $150 could be getting that person more views and more money on their home. You're doing a disservice.
Huge disservice.
If your real estate agent is taking photos if they're like, we're going to come over tomorrow and get pictures and they're just walking around with their cell phone, they're fucking you.
Yeah. I mean, I did it way back, 11 years ago when I had to. But that was different. Not everyone was doing complete photos like they are now. Like, right. I think now it's more competitive and you have to have a professional photographer. And you can get one cheap. Like you said, you could even hire your niece that just got her little camera and took her class in high school. like
it just doing just basic HDR photos on a home is going to do a better job than an iPhone every single time.
100%. It's going to represent the property to its fullest.
The property will look so much better. Everything will look so much cleaner. It's just, it always blew my mind. People that would be like, yeah, I don't need professional photos.
I'm just going
to use my iPhone.
A very large amount of agents that still do iPhones. Well, and I don't even think it's an iPhone.
Like,
We may have a razor in there.
I'm not, and there's like no way that I would even apologize for saying something like that because it's just that true. Look up the stats on professional photography with real estate versus doing it yourself.
It shouldn't even be an option, honestly.
No, it shouldn't.
No.
It shouldn't be an option.
No.
No.
Just like there's a lot of agents that don't even do video, and I'm like, why?
I mean, I can understand that to
Do you?
a point.
Tell me how you understand that, because you don't even have to be in the video.
No, you don't. You definitely don't have to. And honestly, I prefer that. Sorry, I know
If
you
you were
like
an
being
agent?
No, if you were
Not
I'm
in the
saying
video?
not in the video. I feel like I prefer that more to an agent being in the video because I think that like a lot of the times it takes away from the home
Right.
and it puts the focus on it. It depends. Like the way that you do it is okay because you show more of the home than you.
Right.
But if it's a consistent thing about you walking, or like the speedy ones were really good.
I love those.
Like the people that just sit there and don't shut up through the whole video, like all you're doing is you're just naming all the shit that you can read on the MLS anyway.
I know.
It's like, hi, I'm here to tell you everything that you already knew because you probably read the listing. But
when you put it that way,
it's in a sense it's true. But it's the comedic value that you bring into it sometimes, and it's the expression, and it's the little things that aren't represented well just by shooting it with a camera.
Right.
Right. You want to be able to express, a little bit more about an individual room or the makeup of a kitchen or something like that.
Or just the feel of the house.
Yeah, or just the feel of the house.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to kind of have something that's, a representation of like true size. Mm-hmm. So if like you're walking through something, like you can see like that's what a human size is.
Right.
This is what it's equivalent to the rest of the home.
Exactly.
So you get a little bit better idea of like space and stuff, but I prefer it in a way just because I feel personally like it takes away from the home itself. It's really kind of
that's a good perspective.
It's got to be done right in order for it to
right.
to not be annoying.
Right.
But the agents that don't do video, I don't think it's for everyone, but
that's true too.
I think it's good for the people that want to progress their career a little further and be a little bit more in the mix with top sellers and
right.
stuff like that, because if you're selling 1 or 2 homes
right
a year,
then you probably don't need to.
You don't need to do video because
your cousins are still going to sell their house.
Your cousins still do. Yeah.
All right, before we wrap things up, what are the top 3 things sellers should always do before a photo shoot? And what would you tell sellers?
I only get to pick 3.
No, you can do as many as you want.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was trying to keep it to somewhat limited because
trash can in the garage.
Yep.
Please put your trash can somewhere other than the front of your house. Curb appeal is beyond the most important thing, I think, when it comes to showcasing a home.
It's the first picture they're going to see.
It is just a nice, really good hero shot of this home. And then you have this trash can right in between the garages. And to me, it's distracting. I'm sure for the majority of the public, they probably don't think about it. But I bet if you showed 2 people 2 pictures, one without a trash can, one with a trash can, they would find the one without the trash can more appealing.
Because you know why? You're focusing on the house, not the trash can.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of the times you can focus on that trash can, and you're just like, well, that's distracting, especially if you have a bunch of stuff flowing out of it. Yes. The other thing that really bothers me is like, and this isn't something, I don't think this is something that anyone can really do anything about. It's just kind of what you ended up with. Plus, like, a lot of decoration and stuff is very subjective.
Yes.
But like the people with like nothing but hordes and hordes of grandma furniture.
Ugh.
Like a modern new home.
How do you shoot that?
Like gritting my teeth.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like get some new furniture. I know Grandma had some good stuff that was, Grandpa probably handmade, but
they probably don't even think it's grandma furniture.
yeah, probably not. No,
No.
the Grandma
It's
furniture.
huge too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, it is huge. It's huge.
Like you get the bed that takes up the whole room
Yeah, with
because it has
the
the four
like the
posters.
posts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
like.
four poster bed.
And it's like almost up to the ceiling, and then it's like a
That
king size thing, and it's like you have
it
to
makes
like.
the room look like a closet.
It does. It's like, is this whole room just
Yeah.
this bed?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then they got like the matching dressers to go with it, so it's like you have like 10 square feet of room to like actually walk around your bedroom.
We both sold one that was just not that long ago, and that's all I can think of. Because there was so much furniture and every bed was ginormous. Like I don't know how they moved it out of there.
And that leads on to other things more than just grandma furniture. It's the amount of grandma furniture, because it seems like there's this thing that people want to like have as much furniture as possible in their house.
Hmm.
And it makes it look cluttered. It
Yeah,
makes everything look smaller when you have
more.
more of it.
So a minimalistic vibe is probably the best way to
I
go.
think it's the best when it comes to
Agree?
selling. I don't know, would you agree? Yeah.
I do agree. I tell them to take off most of the stuff off the walls because we are in Wyoming. We're going to have a lot of mounts
Hmm.
and we have a lot of fantastic families. But the best way to lose a buyer's attention is when they walk in and they're like, oh, I went to school with that person. And oh my gosh, if they're a doctor, whatever, I've helped this person before we delivered their babies, blah, blah, blah.
That takes away
I've
from.
lost the sale at that point.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's because
they're
they're now
distracted as
just
can
so
be.
distracted by
Yeah.
everything
Now
else.
they're not into the house. Like
Yeah.
usually I can save the sale, but it makes my job a lot harder.
Oh no, I get that
Yeah. So
100%. I
I'll
can
have
see
them
that.
take all of that down. I tell them they're moving anyways.
A lot of
Pack
times
it
when
up to the garage.
people have like big personal photos up on the wall, I always take one of my photos and put it over top of it.
You do.
I do.
That's very
I don't know how
smart.
much you ever pay
I
attention to
haven't
that, but
noticed that. I've noticed what you do for TVs.
oh yeah, the gradient.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love
blackout
that.
gradient. Yeah, because TVs are always gross.
They're very dirty or reflective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, reflective big time.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a black black to gray gradient with a little bit of a drop in the opacity, so it kind of brings a little bit of the TV back
Because
into
it
it,
looks
but it
real,
does look real, but it
but
looks
it's like
really clean.
it does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know they have puppies and kids. That is not a
Hmm.
clean TV.
No, no. Glass, like sliding door glass. People that have pets
Hmm.
and they have the sliding door glass on the back.
Hmm.
That's just covered in muddy paw prints.
Ugh.
That's always gross.
Yes.
Um, so anyway, back to the furniture thing. Yeah, either grandma furniture or immense amount of furniture is a pet peeve of mine. And then the blankets covering the windows.
Oh yeah.
Like we're not
This isn't our.
15
Mm-mm.
living in our parents' basement.
Mm-mm.
You're a grown ass adult with a house that you're selling. Like
Yeah. That's a
that's adult
big.
moves.
Yeah,
Like
it
you're a big
is.
boy.
Yeah.
Take
Get your
take
$30 from
yeah,
Walmart and buy
take the
some curtains.
Broncos blanket off the wall, fold it up nicely, put it in a drawer,
It makes
and
me
yeah,
it makes me laugh because I'd say one out of every three homes has that.
of to some degree,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Even like the really nice ones.
Oh God, and then like disgusting paint colors. Like
Okay, tell me.
I don't
Let's talk
know.
paint for a minute.
Let's talk paint.
Mm-hmm.
There was a house I did like 4 or 5 years ago down in Wright. I'm glad it sold because whoever took it probably did a good job and repainted the whole place. Every single room was a different vibrant color.
Like the come at ya yellow and
It looked like rock.
red.
Yes, it was like mustard yellow in one room and ketchup red in the other, and then it was like this like green in one, and then a bright blue in the other, and it just looked like a carnival.
Have you seen that house downtown?
Which
It
one?
was a beautiful house, and now it is like ketchup and mustard.
Yes. Oh,
Oh my
the
gosh.
Airbnb on Ross
Yes,
Street looking
I
like a
drove past it and I was
McDonald's.
like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, holy crap, that house was so beautiful. And now
how
it
did
looks
they?
like McDonald's.
It
And
looks like a Ronald McDonald house,
yeah, oh, it's so
like
ugly
a
now.
joke almost.
Like, who thinks that like fire engine red goes well with bright yellow?
I had somebody tell me or ask me if the color of a house like hurts the value.
It should.
It absolutely, well, it's not appealing, right? So
Right.
would you buy Mustard House if it was like a nice gray?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought it was a beautiful house before. And
It
now I
was a
feel
beautiful
like
house before. It was
this
like a
ruined it.
burgundy before, I think. It was almost
Yeah,
like a burgundy, like a.
because it has like Victorian touches to it.
It does,
And
yeah.
then,
It has a bit of craftsmanship, like
right.
it has the wood trims, and it's an older home. It's like 1920s home or 1910 home or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was absolutely stunning. I
I
know the
know.
inside was even more beautiful. I hope they
I
didn't.
hope they didn't.
They
You know
probably
what
did.
goes through my mind is like somebody had to do all of that paint and it's like very detailed and very bold.
Could
That
you
sucks.
imagine having that job to just make a house as ugly as possible?
No,
You'd
like
just
I
be
kind of
sitting there
wonder.
painting it like this is a travesty.
I kind of wonder if they were colorblind. Like I hope kind of they were.
Okay, I think we're gonna go on a little roll here of talking shit about design ideas. The house. I hope this person doesn't watch this. There's a house in town that's black and it has copper gutters.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Why?
I think it looks good,
You think it looks good. I think
but
it
I
looks
love
horrible.
black.
No, I love the black part.
Yeah.
I hate that you did, or I hate that the copper trim, like, or not trim, but copper gutters. Your gutters should blend with the house, in my
Oh.
opinion. I don't
And I
think
see where
gutters
you're
are accents.
okay, I can see where you're seeing that. But I see like have you seen some other houses where like they use it as a standout piece? I
They
can
do, but
see
it's
where they're kind
usually
of
a painted lady type look where
a complimentary,
you have at least three colors going into the
not
home.
black on black.
Not black on black with just out of the wall copper gutters.
Yeah, like you need like some more copper
You need
touches
some
to
more
pull
or
it.
some other colors
See what you're
throughout
saying?
it in order to balance it,
Yeah.
because right now it stands out so hard
Yeah.
that it's almost gaudy to me. But that house is beautiful.
Oh, it's stunning.
There's no doubt about it that house is beautiful. It's just the copper really irks me.
I could see
It looks
that.
good on the lamps. Like the
Yeah.
lamps that are coming off the garage. It
Yeah.
looks great. But like it's just like the copper downpipe and then the gutters. It's just like that ruins it for me.
They could have put like some of that variegated metal that's tin that's like a copper
Oh, around like the
color.
fashion stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
that would
look
look
good.
beautiful.
Because then
It
it would
would
tie it
look
in a
beautiful.
little
It
bit
would
more.
tie it in.
Or maybe like a different tone of a black so it's not black on black.
Yeah,
Kind of like
yeah.
a
Or even like a little bit more contrast to it in some point. But yeah,
wood doors with that would look good.
oh my
Like
goodness.
a dark,
Yeah.
warm wood garage door.
Yeah,
That would
that would look
tie it all.
so good.
Yeah.
If you're watching
Uh,
it, make us enjoy driving past your house more.
yeah.
Do it for us.
Uh,
No, it's a beautiful house. I don't think it's ugly by any means, but it's just it bothers me. And then so there's that and that house. But the biggest pet peeve I think is sellers being there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't know these people and they're
No.
trying to micromanage what you do as a
Mhm.
profession,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's like the biggest issue with anything is just those people like the sellers. Like, I get it. I understand you're selling, the biggest investment of your life,
I get that too.
but if you really absolutely care about it, then you should leave, because
Right. I
If
tell
you're there, I'm going to try and get out of that place as fast as humanly
right.
possible because I don't want to be anywhere near. And it has nothing to do with them. I'm sure
You're
they're
just
great
an
people.
introverted
I'm
person.
just an introverted person.
Right.
I don't want to be around people, and I don't want people looking over my shoulder, following me around, asking me questions. I just want to get in, get my job done, and
Right.
go.
And they're gonna ruin the photos if they're
Hmm.
there. So
Yeah,
what I tell my sellers is you are the best of the best. And as all artistic people are, they're very introverted. And
I'm
if
glad you're telling them I'm introvert
well, I'm
because that
like,
helps. That helps
true.
make
It's
sense.
true because
Hmm.
you are, and that's like how you work your best is when you can be alone. And I can tell the difference in the photos, because I've been like, were they there?
Yeah.
Well, why does it look like this?
Well,
But I can tell if you are alone, and that's when you do your best work.
that's
So
why I do the best for video too.
mm-hmm,
Is typically when um typically closer to sunset and nobody there, and then I can just have like, especially if I can have like a lot of time with it,
mm-hmm.
then it makes it easier because it gives me the opportunity to like set up different types of shots or rework different ones or add extra bits into it.
Or, I mean, if you forget something, you still have time.
Hmm. Yeah,
If you're on
there's
it.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's a fun gig.
It's awesome.
It's
It's
great.
no
It's great
2 days
working
are
for
the
you.
same.
You always have some interesting stuff, and it's always fun to just like, you know, just kind of talk shit about some stuff. We always have some funny stories to
Yes,
tell each other.
we do.
You always have great clients too. It's like anytime people do decide to not leave,
Yeah. Or they
they're
come back early.
yeah, or they're usually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've
Whether
talked
they're
about.
just like super sweet and super nice, or there's just something just kind of off about it that's just kind of interesting and makes me happy. Yeah.
I love this job so much because there's literally no 2 days are ever the same.
Hmm.
And every time I go into a house or meet somebody new, there's a whole different story that I could not have dreamt up or imagined. And it's exciting. I think I would be bored at any other job.
Yeah, I I think I would have fun doing real estate. Like if I was ever to become a realtor, it's just I don't ever see myself being able to do it because I would have to be in constant communication with so many people
Yeah,
that nah,
not your thing.
no.
You'd
But
rather,
you have a pretty cool job.
yeah,
I think both of us do.
we do. And we work well together.
We do. I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
We'll
It's like,
continue to grow and evolve and do all the new things. And I'm sure years back, we'll look back and be like, oh man, that's an embarrassing
yeah,
podcast.
we were so young.
I know. That's true. Can you just like make me look like I did then?
Yeah. So do you think you could just make me like a little skinnier? And I'm gonna be like, remember when we did that podcast and I said I hate that?
Yeah. I actually don't now.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
great.
hate it. It's just like I don't know how to make you thinner in video. Like you have to like squeeze the video, the whole thing. Like I'm not gonna like
Uh,
cut this out and then track it and all this other stuff just to no.
oh my gosh, no.
It's like I'm not gonna do that, but I'm
No.
gonna smile and nod.
Yep. And they can think that you're doing it.
I think it's funny when they ask you to do that and then you send the photos back and you didn't do that and you're like, oh, I look so good. It's like, I didn't really do anything to it.
It's like a placebo pill.
It is. It is. It
That's
is.
hilarious.
It's because people you don't see it until it's done and edited. So, and then by then you forget about how you looked on that day.
True.
Whoa.
Well, maybe you gain a little bit more weight and then you look at it and you're like, oh, wow, I look amazing.
Yeah. I'm so thin now.
10 pounds ago. Well, thank you so much for all your insight and
Oh,
for
you're
the fun
welcome.
chat. Hopefully, we do this again soon.
Sure.
But maybe we can collect some comments, some questions, anything that people might wonder or have to ask John. Please put them in the comments or give us a text, and we'd love to answer you.